What I think the board should do is, at the bare minimum, enforce the zoning laws that are in place of 50 decibels. And that is have the available equipment and expertise to monitor that so that they can enforce their zoning law like they would with other zoning laws. Even better would be if the town served as a liaison to this corporate neighbor, EDP, to find some solutions to the ongoing nuisances and problems created by the wind turbine and represent the residents and taxpayers of the community as our elected officials with this company as appropriate. You know, we can all speak for ourselves, but the town's the one that signed on to this, not the individual taxpayers. And because they agreed to have this corporation build these in the community, find a way to help mitigate the problems that they've caused.
That the company themselves should have monitoring equipment close by at each tower or 1,200 feet away from it, because there is a major difference between the two. And but they won't do that. That's not in their best interest. But everybody can download a decimal meter to their phones. I've done it. I get well in excess of 60 decibels on a regular basis. And the other night it was off the chart. So, but I think there's enough people on the board that can do whatever can be done. I'm pretty confident of that right now. I'm just sorry that we were possibly guinea pigs in all this. So, and we're paying the price.
So what is it like where you are?
I'm umbrellaed by 7 turbines at the end of Cable Road. And if I go outside the house, I can hear it on a regular basis on the inside. If I go out the north side of the house, I hear 2 of them. I go to the east side of the house, I hear those over there. I look out my windows watching TV, and I see blades on 3 turbines going around. I'm just totally encompassed by them. And I see them. I don't like them. I'd rather see them than hear them, but I hear them all the time. There's enough people on the board that realize exactly what we're going through. So we'll give them a shot at it.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Roll call. Councilperson Lynn Bedford.
Here.
Councilman Chris Cannon.
Aye.
Town Supervisor Ted Whiteman. Councilman Larry Ball.
Present.
Councilwoman Chris Jackson.
Here.
Town Clerk Wendy Lord.
Here. Present.
I think also present we have the Town Zoning and Code Enforcement Officer.
Here. And we should put that.
Highway Superintendent Craig Harrington.
Here.
Town Justice John Potter.
Present.
All right. Anyone else I might be missing? All right. We'll start with reports. I received a letter of resignation from the chairperson of the Arkwright Zoning Board of Appeals, dated January the 9th, and it reads as follows. Dear Ted, it is with regret that I tender my resignation from the Town of Arkwright Zoning Board of Appeals effective immediately. It has been an honor to serve the people of the Town of Arkwright on the board, and I will help as much as possible with the transition to a new chairperson as soon as you find a new candidate. Sincerely, Jim Potter. So we will be in search of a chairperson for the Zoning Board of Appeals. If anyone cares to volunteer or knows anyone that may be interested, please let us know.
You canvass the other members of the board
I have not.
as they are most experienced.
Certainly. Maybe we'll look to them to perhaps step up to that position. Next order, as I formerly sat on the board of assessment review, I can no longer hold both positions, so I wrote up a resignation as such effective immediately. So we will need to find someone to replace me on the Board of Assessment Review as well. And that's all I have for now. District Clerk, Tax Collector.
To date, I processed $139,805.24 in taxes. 10 of them were received via in person, 1 Dropbox, the rest were by mail, and monies were deposited.
Superintendent of Highways?
I've turned in last year's receipts for December, and I'm going to turn in so far this year in February, because I've only got a couple bills in. So that's as far as the report.
Very good. Council people, Lynn Bedford.
Yeah. I went to a 3-day seminar in Rochester held for all the new elected people, and I found it extremely, extremely valuable. Learning the laws, learning what should be, what shouldn't be, etc. I would encourage all the board members to even refresh and get to one of these courses. I brought back a lot of information specifically for the supervisor and highway person, but it was extremely, it'll take me a month to digest everything that I learned, but it was really amazing.
Very good. Chris?
I have a New York State Teamsters Council Health and Hospital Fund contract. It was just delivered to me this week. So we do have new health insurance for the employees. So I assume I haven't received a valid contract from them, signed contract from them yet, but this would show that they intend to ratify that contract and go on the new insurance, because the insurance changed with the contract.
Effective January 1st.
So our pay should be paid retroactive. Their new pay should start January 1st. And I did receive an email today from the union rep. One of the men was questioning why that hadn't occurred, and it hadn't occurred because we hadn't received a ratified contract from them.
They haven't signed the contract.
Apparently,
Haven't signed.
apparently it's been discussed, signed, but not sent back because we received this.
Hasn't been signed.
Hasn't been signed?
We just met with the union guy last week before, about the insurance. If he was supposed to, when we met with the board, they were supposed to bring an insurance guy out to talk to us about this new insurance. He never did until here. We called him and raised heck with him to get him out here, but we weren't signing nothing until we find out what this insurance was. Well, now we can't even get a hold of the union guy to get out here and talk to us.
Well, he emailed me today, and the insurance is in effect January 1st.
Because we actually went over his head and called his boss to find out what's going on, because we didn't even agree to the contract or nothing yet.
There's the signatures. Not theirs, but the union rep has signed in stating that's Fred Norton.
Okay.
And that's the union rep. So the insurance is in force. Your new insurance is in force.
I don't know how he could do that when.
He's not my rep.
I'm not saying it's the board's fault, but we didn't even agree on this contract yet. We met with you guys at one time and that was it.
Why is your union steward questioning the fact that you guys aren't paid the new rate then?
No, he just asked what, with the contract, what's going on with it? Are we on the new one or are we on the old one? Because we haven't signed nothing yet. And this guy's pushed everything through, I mean.
I got an email today stating that Jamie Hebner inquired to him why their first paycheck didn't receive the new pay rate.
Right, we just.
And I said the same thing you said.
We just questioned.
We don't have a
are we still
ratified
on the old
contract.
contract or we on the new contract? Because we haven't even signed a new one. We can't even get the guy to come out here and talk to us. I mean, it's not the board's fault.
Yeah,
It's not the
yeah.
town's fault.
He's
This union guy's
He's your guy.
So we went over his head and called his boss to see what.
What did he say? Was there
He's
any?
supposed to get down to the bottom of it, because he said they should have never went this far. The union guy went ahead and did this contract and everything, after we met with you and Larry. He went right back and wrote this contract up, and we hadn't even talked to him. to pick
Yeah,
up
I didn't
if
know.
we were accepting it or not accepting it.
I had assumed when he called me and had me get the signatures for these papers that you guys had agreed to it.
No?
I sent them to him and he returned them.
We didn't even get the contract. You got the contract before we did.
Well, as it stands, the board ratified the new contract at the December meeting.
Yeah.
It's still outstanding, and now it's up to you to, in turn, ratify, and as soon as you do, then
Right.
Yeah, I sent him
Everyone will
an
receive
email
retroactive pay.
stating that we haven't received the ratified contract.
Right.
My assumption was that until we did, we didn't have a contract. I
Which is
assume
correct.
you have taken care of this.
yes.
No,
So, and
we're still working on it.
Okay. You have anything else, Chris?
I'm just wondering, we got an issue with their insurance if any of them go to the doctor.
Yes, perhaps. So,
And I guess leave them on their old pay rate till,
oh, they have to be. So,
Yeah, we have to stay with our own contract.
yeah, and technically they can't go to the doctor.
right. Well, that's a problem.
Yeah,
So,
that one's in force.
yes, it is enforced. So perhaps it may take a phone call from me to the union
I
representative.
gave him your number.
Okay, very good. I'll be in contact with him then. Larry?
No report.
Chris? No report. All right. Town Justice?
For the month of for the month of December, there were 7 V&T law cases handled with $350 in fines and 0 surcharges collected. There were 4 ECL cases handled with no money collected. The amount $350 in fines and 0 in surcharges totaling $350 was collected and turned over to the town for the month of December 2019.
Very good. Town Zoning Code Enforcement Officer. You have anything to add?
She has it.
Oh, she has it. I'm sorry.
List of permits.
Okay. So you've submitted a 2019 building permit list. No permits issued for December. Preparing the 2019 code enforcement activities report for the New York State. And preparing a violation notice order to remedy for address on Route 83. Okay, thank you. The town assessor. To that order, I have been in contact with the town assessor. She said to me that there's been a previous resolution by the town board to purchase a computer for her. She has been hospitalized for some time, is now out but still unable to drive, and asked that myself or a member of the board would be able to purchase said computer and get it to her. Obviously, I said I would have to speak to the order to that.
I hate buying computers for anyone but myself.
As do I. That was the request.
Was there a resolution for a new computer?
I found one pursuant to 2009, but
I was gonna say, I don't recall.
We talked something about you were going to check into prices on a computer for somebody.
That was for
For code, that's what I thought.
I don't recall anything ever for the assessment.
I don't,
So,
Not within the span of my memory.
in my research, I could not
I
find
wouldn't have been
anything
on the board at that time.
Right.
so.
Right. So, I'll have to speak to her again and try to get some clarity. For now, that was her report. Town dog control officer.
I spoke with her today. She said last month she picked up a dog in the trailer park on Center Road, mangy, and she took him right to Strunk Road as well as a Jack Russell.
Okay. Motion to accept reports.
Also move.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye. We'll accept the reports.
Do we need a motion to accept the minutes from the last meeting?
We
We
do.
don't have them,
Well,
unless
I
we're
don't,
doing
yeah.
the organization.
right. We do not have them.
Pardon me?
We don't have them. No. So we'll have to table that until the February meeting. A chance to review.
That was a December minutes. So,
That's okay. Motion to pay highway and general bills.
Question. Are we making a motion to pay these, or what are we doing?
So,
We don't have any from him.
I don't know if the board is aware.
Are those signed?
Craig was visited by the former superintendent of highways today and given a ledger and a stack of bills from from December of 2019. And we need to account for them and submit them to the former bookkeeper so she can close out her 2019 books and make sure they're paid.
Did it come with vouchers attached?
Some. Yes, they all have vouchers.
So we,
So I got some after Jim left, and they're in here. There was 7, and we attached them to vouchers, but they're not in the ledger.
They need to be signed, so we can't approve them until we sign them, all right?
So we'll table the highway bills until further review.
Is that, so they won't get paid until next month?
Hate to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's my concern that she's already closed out the month.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
If that's a possibility.
We still gotta sign them and pay them.
Yes. Oh, they have to be paid without a doubt.
if these are already vouchered,
Only some of them are.
No, they're all vouchered.
Then we can
They are.
sign them right
if they
now.
are,
And we just sign
we,
it
we
right now and get them
should
done.
audit and approve those so they could be sent back and get into the system
Yes,
for
yes.
payment.
Otherwise they can't.
Agreed. So we will review and sign them then. So do we have a motion to pay the highway and general bills then?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll make the motion.
I'll
Second.
second.
We gotta pay them anyway.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright.
Aye.
Pass. Do we have any public comments relative to the reports or previously discussed topics? Okay.
John,
I'm sorry, John?
Yeah, Mr. Supervisor, I have some questions actually regarding the payment of the Justice Court's clerk. It's my
John,
understanding that-
excuse me, I can't hear you. Could you come a little closer, please?
Sure. I have some questions regarding the payment of the hired help, the clerk, the court clerk. Before, we would submit a voucher for her hours, and she would get a check. I guess it was out of the general fund or the Justice Court fund, I'm not sure where it came from. It was never in the form of a payroll check, and so now that we've got new bookkeeping taking over, do you want, sometimes a person needs to get paid before your monthly meeting. So is that going to be up to me as a supervisor of the Justice Court to submit these invoices for payment to the accounting firm, or do we have to come once a month to the town board?
you have to come once a month. to the
Why
town.
is that? That's
Because
absolutely unacceptable. In
That's
today's
the way
world,
government operates. It has to be approved
Mr.
by the
Cannon.
town board.
okay,
Yes, you may be her supervisor, but the town board supervises the budget. We authorize payment out of the budget that we established.
I see, so,
And further, you said a payroll, is she, your clerk, is she an independent contractor and not an employee, I hope?
I have no idea. It's up to me to hire the clerk and to keep the clerk employed and make sure that the training is up to snuff and that their duties are being fulfilled. It's up to you to determine, this board, this body, what her employment status is.
So to speak to that, I spoke with the accountant today. She is currently contracted as an independent contractor and will receive a 1099. Now, there is a means test that position must pass, and that has not been analyzed yet.
A means test?
Yes.
Can I get that in some kind of explanation?
To determine whether she should be a 1099 contract employee or a regular hourly employee.
So who makes that, how is that made? And when will it be made?
Well, the accountant's working on it now. They have to look at it. A lot of it has to do with the control of the type of work she does, the hours she works.
Well, the hours that she works and the control over the court clerk is solely at the discretion of the town justice. The board has no say in me directing the justice court clerk. And I wanted to make the board aware of the increased duties now with the Criminal Justice Reform Act in New York, but I wasn't given an opportunity to speak and address this body. And it's high time that I be given a seat at the table, so to speak, so that we can discuss these matters, because the justice court duties have increased exponentially over just the last 2 years. We've got the cap court situation in Chautauqua County now, and now we've got criminal justice reform. And it's an entirely different ballgame. Everything changes, and you know that needs to be considered by you folks so that you can make informed decisions on how to fund the justice court. So maybe some sort of a workshop would be in order. I'm not sure, but this business about coming to the board once a month for payment, if that's the rule, it's actually a little discriminatory against the court clerk. The highway employees get paid every other week, I believe. Why can't the court clerk get paid every other week?
Contractual.
I'm sorry?
It's contractual.
So she's an independent contractor, as you specified, but she has no contract to get paid.
Right. That's this description of how she is paid. So I can tell you this. We can speak to Pasifero and see about the legalities of paying her as an hourly employee to change her pay structure, if that is so desired.
Okay. And I guess in the meantime, I will contact the Civil Service Department to find out whether she's entitled to some sort of different status as opposed to this contractor.
Absolutely.
Independent contractor.
Which is the same thing that I'm saying to you now.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the difference would being was that if she was an employee, she would be eligible to join into the New York State retirement system.
Yes.
As a part-time employee. There's a lot of things that you know, we've just kind of said, oh, shucks, over the years, and it's all just gone by the wayside. Well, you know, things like getting people paid, we shouldn't have to come groveling once a month to get paid. If I'm going to run the justice court in an efficient, effective manner to keep the people happy and motivated, then they need to get paid. And the board, I think, should take that into consideration instead of the hard line. You know, if I'm going to be overseeing this person's duties, the board should trust me that I'm going to review her hours and make sure that they're adequate and that they're honest, and then allow me to be able to submit this request for payment. So anyway, I've gone on record. It's ridiculous, in my opinion. Thanks for listening.
Judge Potter, you have to realize too that as an employee, her salary, her wages would then be subject to withholding of FICA, income tax, and such as that, whereas a contract employee, they are responsible for their own taxes and that. So there's a difference in if all of a sudden she's a more expensive employee because the town has to pony up half of that FICA tax on her.
That's just the cost of doing business as a town, isn't it? Does that fall back
How long have we had a justice clerk?
since this town is,
Oh, no.
I couldn't tell you.
No, we haven't.
Well, you tell me then, Mr. Cannon, because I don't have the answer.
Since you've been judge, we've had it.
Since I've been
you-
judge, we've had a justice court?
Yeah. Clerk.
Well, you know,
David never had a clerk.
What?
you know,
No, I know. It was the judge's responsibility.
I don't want to debate with the board, with this body, the worthiness of a clerk, and to expect you folks to understand what's required of a court clerk or the clerical end of the
I'm
job.
not
It's
debating that.
well, I would appreciate it if we could address some of these things. And again, if I could be included in some of these conversations. For instance, 20 years on the bench since we've been having court clerk, and I've never been asked about any requirements, any needs, any budgetary concerns. I pay for everything out of my own pocket, and then I come with a payment, a voucher for payment to the town. And I'm wondering, is there anybody else at this table that pays for all their supplies and all of their business needs out of their pocket and then submits
here.
for payment?
Right here.
Yes, and I don't turn it in.
Me neither.
I turned it on.
Well, thank you.
All right. Right. Old business, the organizational meeting, there was a question as to the funding of the appointment of Baggett and Marito as the new town bookkeeper. I have been advised that it's a matter of budgetary adjustment, and amending, well, not amending the budget because you cannot, but
Okay.
using, reappropriating funds from the contingency. So, I'd like a motion to appoint Baggett and Laredo as the town bookkeeper.
I have a question. What's the cost?
The cost is, and I have it here, it's, there's no exact dollar amount because it fluctuates with the payroll, but it's relatively $575 per month. And I can find it for you, but $575 a month.
I think it'd be a good thing to have somebody keeping an eye on the books like that.
Well, it's a professional
Yeah,
accountant.
yeah.
So do we have a motion to?
I'll make
Well, I
that
have another question. We're talking about Baggett and Laredo, and I don't question whether they're a good firm or not, but have we searched any other accounting firms and compared prices, or? I know we're doubling, basically doubling what we have paid in the past for this service.
Mhm.
So I think there would be some comparison of shopping. I don't run my business without getting more than one price.
Right. It's, but it is an appointed position though.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
It doesn't
And I have,
make it any better or any worse if you can get it $1,000 cheaper somewhere else. That would be the responsible thing to do
right.
as a
So the other responsible thing to do is, we have no current bookkeeper.
Right.
And we are in dire need of a bookkeeper from January 1st, is to appoint a professional bookkeeper to do our books as soon as possible. And that's why I would like a motion to appoint Baggett Laredo.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a
I'll
second?
second
All in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
Very good. Motion passes. We spoke to the next up, update from CPL on architectural survey requirements for new town hall. Larry, I'll let you speak to that.
We're skipping over.
I'm sorry, I already spoke to that under the
Yeah.
town assessor's report.
Okay. Well, you have everything that they have sent me. I don't have it in front of me tonight. I forwarded it to you, so.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, Larry's been off contact with an architecture firm, CPL, to draw up some plans for a new town hall. They have offered various suggestions pertaining to such. There's a request for a new survey in regards to boundary lines, utilities, and the placement of the existing structures here on the lot, so that they can better assess the location, moreover, calculate a cost estimate for the new plan.
They also needed a soil sampling, just to know what the soil is capable of supporting, what kind of foundations they would have to design.
Correct. It's been previously discussed that there is a new or fairly recent survey that may provide them this information that they need. We need to find it.
They have it.
They have.
I
Well, then,
giving them a
and-
copy
and-
of it.
what do they
But
need?
they need something beyond that.
Okay,
It's not comprehensive enough.
I see. So,
With it would meet part of their, what they need, but not entirely.
do you, or have you been in contact with anyone or have a cost estimate for this survey or service?
They sent me a cost estimate for surveying firm that does work for them. I cannot remember the cost right now, but then I took and contacted, it's Wendy Strait. She is retired, but the records are in her office, and the individual has taken over that firm. Came in like $1,500 more than what the estimate was from Clark Patterson Lee.
Okay,
But they should have all.
1,500, what's the cost?
right.
They should have all this. I mean, all they need to know is where the pins are, where the buildings are. They should have all this. All they need to know is where
Satellite.
the,
Yeah.
you know, and
There's a buried high-pressure gas line back here. It's going to be encumbering where they can put it.
all they gotta do is call 811. And
Yeah.
it'll be all marked out.
Yep,
They don't, you don't need,
it's all satellite.
yeah,
It would be marked out on the ground here.
yeah.
It wouldn't be marked on a piece of paper that they would be drawing the plans from. They need someone to plot it from the flags on the ground onto the survey that they will be building from.
Our engineering firm can't do that themselves. They don't have the software in their computer to do it.
Chris, why don't you take lead on this then?
I'm just asking.
Evidently they don't, or they wouldn't be asking for this.
Okay. Most do.
So, is it the board's interest to further research this, find out specifically what they need, or an exact survey price specific to their needs?
They gave an exact survey price, but that was before I gave them the survey that we have. I do not know what more they need now, if it would be less than what it was. I reported that price 4 months ago.
Okay. So, for now, I think we need to table this issue. Do a little more research and readdress it at the February meeting. Okay, motion to table?
I'll move.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. New business. We have a resolution regarding the housing of a town pickup truck. And that is a resolution of the Town of Arkwright Town Board authorizing the town superintendent of highways to take a town-owned vehicle home. Whereas Article 8, Section 1 of the Constitution of the State of New York prohibits this town from gifting or loaning any town property to or in aid of any private individual, institution, or corporation. And whereas it is the board's considered judgment that it is in the best interest of the residents of the town and that it allows the superintendent of highways to immediately respond to any emergency affecting the town highways. Therefore, be it resolved that the superintendent of highways is authorized to take the town vehicle assigned to him home during off-work hours, provided the vehicle is not used for or in aid of any private individual, institution, or corporation. Further, the Town of Arkwright logo is to be clearly affixed to both front doors of the vehicle, and no person other than a duly licensed town employee shall be allowed to drive said vehicle. Questions or comments?
Yeah, I'd like to comment. I think, with all due respect, he lives so close, and he's on call 24/7. You know, those are things to really, really consider about this. That's an important thing. But just the time, if an emergency happened, and he had to drive even from his house here, pick up a truck, that could be valuable time.
Absolutely.
Wasted, so.
Right.
I can agree with you on that. The reason this came up was there is an existing resolution in effect from 2017 stating that the highway superintendent cannot take the truck home because the former highway superintendent was abusing that privilege and using it as his personal vehicle, was caught plowing his mother's driveway and such. So that motion would have to be rescinded, or this would be overriding it.
This resolution will replace that one. Okay.
I wish I could.
Do I have a motion to accept this resolution as written?
Motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Resolution is passed.
But this supersedes the previous resolution.
Yes. Public comment in regards to new or old business?
Ted, I need to, I'd like to have named Jeff Milliman as my deputy.
Okay.
Because we didn't do that last month.
Right, sure.
He'll have to be sworn in.
He will be.
Okay. And also, any chance?
Will he need to file an oath of office
Yes.
for that position? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And also, is there any chance I could get a credit card for buying supplies?
There is a chance.
Okay. Could we
Depends
do
on what the
something
board
like that?
says.
Pardon me?
It depends on what the board says.
Uh-huh.
What kind of supplies?
What kind of credit card?
Well, we definitely need some supplies. We sure could use a toilet brush over there. I can't buy anything.
Home Depot?
Yeah, can't get, not authorized.
I think that needs to happen.
Yes.
It definitely needs to
Yeah.
happen.
What kind of credit card are we talking about?
I mean, I don't, you know,
What about a
Never
Visa
had a
card?
credit card. Town employees have never had a credit card.
the town highway superintendent should have something. In
My-
case an emergency or something comes up and he needs something like immediately right now, he should be able to get it.
And what if there's unauthorized spending on this credit card?
I know.
If there's meals bought on it,
He keeps the receipts and turns the receipts in.
and if they're not,
Then if the receipts-
they're not valid town expenses, then what?
It would be the same as any other non-valid town
yes.
expense.
Do you not trust me?
I know highway departments where people have been treated to meals that aren't even highway and
I know.
town related.
I know Mooney wouldn't do that.
I'll buy two
I
by
vouch for
fours,
that.
you know? Yeah, I promise I won't buy any meals.
I'm gonna beat you
Can,
with a wet noodle.
can the town
Yeah.
establish out of the highway superintendent's contingency fund, a petty cash fund where he would have access to so many dollars of cash, and then he would turn in vouchers to be replenished into the petty cash fund?
That could be established.
And the town would set how much.
I have
would be
more,
there.
I have more interest in a specific credit card that you would
Yeah.
be interested in. And if you could,
Yeah,
provide
credit
us
card
that-
works better than cash anymore. Right.
Right.
And then all you do is every month, if you put something, you just turn the receipt in and
I have
It's
a
done.
comment on that too, it's just a suggestion, but a credit card for him, something set up along the lines of like a cash back, so that the more that card is used, there's a certain amount of
We
cash
cannot,
back on that.
I cannot do that as a municipal entity.
Okay.
Yep.
Why don't you ask the accountants what standard municipal practice is? I'm sure they work with other communities that have a similar setup.
I have.
Yeah, okay.
And the accountants, it's strictly by choice. It's at the pleasure of the board. So I think if you would express to the board, come up with some specifics as to what credit card or what accounts you wish to have, we could then take a vote.
I have a Visa card that works everywhere.
Right.
I mean, if a window pane goes out, you should be able to run down and get it. You know what I mean? And not have to worry.
Right now, the only place I
We
can
have
buy
an
anything
open
is
account.
Napa.
Yeah.
That's it, Napa.
Yeah, that's
Only place I can go.
Service hardware,
Service hardware.
you know, glass,
Haven't been there.
there's an open account
You
there.
have a question in the back row.
You can do it at Home Depot, you can do it where I work, if you guys don't know where I work at the hardware store in Irving. So you've got Westfield, you've got Dunkirk, and you've got Irving for ad lumber. You've got Home Depot on the corner. All you have to do is open up a business account and they will set it up. Ad
Open
lumber,
account.
for instance, will
We have several.
charge it to you once a month. So if, by discussing this, disputing it, but I doubt if they're gonna dispute you then. They do usually ask for references for other businesses, but they do have other townships there. So that might be an option as well for you. And my son has a business account at Home Depot, so he says it works the same way. He goes in, he gets what he wants, he charges it, pays it once a month.
Yeah, I went there and I wasn't authorized.
Right.
And
So-
you need to just change the names as you go along. and-
Right.
Right. We can use the minutes from the town board to, you prove who you are, change the authorization. If you need help with that, I will certainly assist you. But again, if you desire to have a credit card, come up with some specifics so that we can take a vote. Okay? Jeff?
We had a credit card for Home Depot. We had one for, what was that, Tractor Supply. And Jim messed that up on Tractor Supply. But we did have a credit card for Home Depot, but it was in Jim's name, but you can't use it in Jim's name.
You'll have to have it switched.
It just got switched, but we did have one Tractor Supply and stuff.
Okay, there you go. I haven't seen any of these accounts come through
We've had
across
them
my
before.
desk, but they don't exist as open now, though? Is that what you're telling me?
Probably Home Depot is if he changes the name.
All it would
If
take
you
is a
could,
phone call or go into the store to be able to we
Yeah, all you
personally
have
have a form for you to fill out and an authorized person signing to approve the take away people and not add on people, so it's not that difficult, you just have to take a few minutes.
I know there's an open account at Service Hardware.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you could write a letter for Craig, giving him authority to open an account.
Yes. Yes. With the specifics. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Anything else to the good of the order?
Question, will there be a long-range, short-range plan for the town roads?
There has been.
Do you care to speak to that, Craig?
Well, there's a lot of work that needs to be done on a lot of roads, right? So we're gonna, in the spring,
A plan?
we'll come up with a plan, yes. I don't have a plan right now.
We can hold you to it?
Everything's subject to change.
Sir?
Yeah.
Are we talking March? Are we talking April?
Every year, the highway superintendent has to submit to a board his spending of what he wants to accomplish on road repairs, and the board authorizes him to spend those monies to do those repairs.
Not by need, but just by somebody requesting?
He determines the need.
Where do you live?
Park Road? Have you been down Ball Road?
Yeah,
Have you been down Park Road?
yes.
What's the plan?
I'll put it
You
in the
say in
plan.
the spring of 2020, 2021? Do we have to wait for the board to say something?
Immediate repairs will be done, but this is, you talk about the long range. This is what I'm talking about, is the town board approves these long range plans of road repair, improvement.
You live on Ball Road?
I
What
most
happens?
certainly do, and I'm not happy with it, but we've had a terrible winter so far, and the road conditions are,
For how many years have you had a terrible winter? You live in Arkwright. You gotta do something. You just can't wait. Come up with a plan. Say this is what's going to happen. Not, well, we'll see. We have to get the board to vote. The highway guy should come up and say, this is what we're doing to Ball Road in 2020. We've been doing this for years.
this gentleman has not been here for years.
2 weeks.
He's been here for 2 weeks.
Right.
Cut him some slack, would you?
We've been cutting slack in Arkwright for many, many years. Many years. What are we waiting for?
All right.
And just because you don't live on Straight Road, you don't live on Miller Road, you don't live on Griswold Road, they can't improve all the roads every year.
Just tell me what year you're gonna do Ball Road and Park Road, and I'll be happy. Then I'll hold you to it.
Sir, I can
Okay.
understand your frustration with this. Most of us here are new coming in. We're assessing what has gone on, and we've got a lot of work to do. So please bear with us. I understand. My heart goes out to all of us in our horrible condition of our roads. We're gonna do the best we possibly can with what we have to work with.
All right. Chris?
We are anything on the chips?
Yeah, we got it.
We did get it?
Yes.
December 16th.
All but $500 because he didn't file enough, which he could have, but we'll get it, we'll get that 500 next year.
I just want to see it.
Okay.
was
Yeah,
fine.
it did.
For
It did come.
Anyone else?
Me. I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Ruth Nichols, and I'm your town historian.
Nice to meet you, Ruth.
Some of you know me, some of you don't. That's why I just wanted to introduce myself. And I am technically a member of the board, an ongoing member of the board. If you have any requests for anything that you would like me to research, I would appreciate knowing about it. With a previous, when I became historian 15 years ago, the supervisor at the time requested that I do some research on the past supervisors of the town. And I was able to do that, and I have, some of you have seen my chart that I have the pictures. I have pictures of most of them in the years that they served. that's what that was my first experience. So, I just wanted to introduce myself and let you know that I'm here. I live on 83, which some of you know who I live. Some of you might know since you're children. But,
Well,
yeah.
Thanks for coming here. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
speaking up, and thank you for doing what you do. All right, and with that, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Redmine.
Is there any update on the decibel testing equipment and who might the tester be?
No. I have researched this, and we need to, as a board, appoint someone. Then the wind company has the right, within 90 days, to refuse that person if it is not to their liking. Then the board would have to submit another man for this said position. But in short, we're working on it. Does that answer your question?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
How do we go about finding a decibel tester?
Mhm.
It's something I think we should probably move on, but how would we find a decibel? Who's qualified to test decibels?
EDP will tell you.
Okay.
I think, Larry, were you,
I went a couple times with the fellow in the instrument. It was kind of leaning my way at one point, but I never,
do you have the,
I don't have the
whatever happened with that?
the guy who was coming out here on the weekends quite often still has that.
Is that the
At
town?
one point, I guess that was gonna be turned over to the town.
I thought it was the town property, but I'm not sure.
I thought the town purchased equipment.
So we need to locate this equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I
it's
would
the
say
town's
so.
property.
I see.
I think the equipment was.
Larry, do you have the information?
But I'm
of the-
not sure.
Of the person that last possessed this?
I'll get it for you.
Okay. Thank you.
I think Larry was in charge. I don't know.
Jill?
Hi, I'm Jill Casey from Route 83. Has the town ever done an inventory of assets? Is that required every year as part of the audit? And if not, I would recommend it, because there's been 3 things tonight that we think we may have bought, or sometimes somebody remembered, we approved buying it, but not sure we did. I think there, as part of any good audit and financial management system, there should be an inventory. If we bought a machine
My understanding
and don't
is
know
we
where
bought
it
it.
is, that's of concern. We have called the hotline for decibels that on our phones exceed the allowable limit, and sometimes they, send someone out and sometimes they don't. But there's no way that the town can enforce their own laws, their own zoning laws, if we don't have a way to test that. And over the past couple weeks, those things have exceeded 70 decibels on a regular basis, which is in excess of the allowable limit, but we have no way of enforcing our own laws. So I really think if this has to start with, do we have the right equipment to appoint the right people? The town should, maybe use the accounting firm that's been engaged to help set some professional standards of keeping track of inventory and where they are. That's typical of a financial management system and internal controls to do that. So as a recommendation, I would encourage, if we don't have an inventory control system, do that to be able to follow up just on enforcing our own laws, with the equipment we have, and knowing where computers are when people need them.
Sir?
I'd like to make a comment on the decibels.
Sir, could you identify yourself? I'm not familiar with your
Paul
face.
Gogolay.
Pardon me?
Paul Gogolay.
Okay.
My comment would be this. I called about the noise. Twice I called. One was 5.5 hours later. One was 8 hours later. If somebody comes out and tests the noise. Doesn't do any good when it changes like that. All I'm saying is there should be a better response than there is.
Could the town get a quicker response than a resident? If a resident was to call the hotline for a decibel test, and it took him, like this gentleman said, 5 to 8 hours, could he then call a board member and say, hey, I called them, it's been 2 hours before, would the town have a quicker response? I realize it'll cost, but until that equipment is done, if it's an issue, could the town promote them tests to be done sooner for the laws to be enforced?
We could. The short answer, as I understand the wind agreement, it has to be a certified person, acknowledged by EDP, or else your sound survey will have no teeth. It could be 120 decibels, and if it's not the agreed upon person taking the measurement,
It's an invalid test.
it's an invalid test. So we have to go through these steps, and bear with us in our first few weeks of office here to find somebody that is agreeable to both the town and EDP to take these tests.
And someone who would be available at a moment's notice.
Yes. Yes.
Well, just thinking out loud, just a rhetorical question. I find it hard to believe that this company would not have their own decimal meters at every tower, so they could monitor it themselves. It doesn't require a response. That's just thinking out loud. Well, I know they don't care.
But at the tower, it's totally different than it is 1,200 feet away, 1,300 feet away. About 1,300 feet away, it gets pretty.
Oh, tell me.
There's hardly any sound directly on.
Yeah. But I think we should have the equipment and have somebody to test them. And we should be holding these people to our law.
Anyone else? All right. And with that, the meeting is adjourned.
Now we have to ask for a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. A motion to adjourn the meeting. All right.
Also move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now the motion.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
There is a, they have purchased it. And the person that was, I don't know a lot about it because I paid myself for